This meeting of the Baltimore County Landmarks Preservation Commission is now in session. Please note the meeting is being audio recorded. My name is Ed Horde. I'm vice chair of the commission. As you may or may not know, our commissioner has resigned, and we'll have an election in today's meeting. I will chair the meeting until the election happens, and after we have selected a chair, the chair will then run the meeting for the rest of the meeting. We are your volunteer representatives appointed by our county councilperson or county executive and trusted to monitor renovations and additions to our Baltimore County historic resources. The LPC reviews and approves nominations to the Baltimore County preliminary landmarks list, comments on National Register nominations, reviews all exterior alterations within county historic districts, and is charged with evaluating Baltimore County historic tax credit applications. Would the commissioners please introduce themselves by name and county council district or representation? Can we go in the order listed on the PowerPoint screen?
Phoebe Evans-Latosha, executive appointment.
John Holman, District 5.
Scott Holupka, Planning Board Representative.
Ed Horde, executive appointment. Vince?
Vince, I think you're muted.
Sorry, I thought I was in. Vince Johnson, executive appointment.
Oh, Wendy, you're muted. There we go.
Wendy McIver, District 3. I just joined you after another meeting.
Sounds great. Happy to have you.
Thanks.
Lily?
Lily Mundruff, District 1. I'm just joining the commission for the first time. Nice, happy to be here and looking forward to it.
Steve Meyer, executive appointment, and welcome.
Ray Scott, District 7.
Chris Weston, District 2.
Perfect. And that is everybody.
Before we go any further, Lily, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Lily Mundruff. I live in Catonsville, and I've been working with Brennan and Company Architects for about 15 years. We do a lot of historic preservation and adaptive reuse projects in the region, and just own an old house and love to be a part of this commission.
Okay, well, welcome. We welcome you to the commission.
Thank you.
And thank you all for your introductions. Next, please stand as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible,
liberty and
justice for all.
The Landmark Preservation Commission operates under the authority, standards, and requirements of Title VII, Article 32 of the Baltimore County Code. We refer to the United States Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation as administered by the National Park Service. This is the accepted national standard for historic preservation projects. Our own Baltimore County Historic Preservation Design Guidelines directly reference and incorporate the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation. We have important preservation issues to discuss and debate at each meeting. If you would like to make comments, please limit your comments to the specific application or proposal submission being reviewed. We ask for your assistance and understanding so that the discussions do not digress. As an additional comment, we can all agree that historic preservation is an important aspect of the quality of life and place that makes Baltimore County unique. As commissioners, we serve on the commission due to our expertise, interest, and passion for historic buildings and places, and we review submissions based solely on their merit. While we may disagree in discussion and voting, We continue to be a collegial body that respects each other and personally and professionally. With the staff, please provide us with the virtual meeting reminders.
Yes, thank you. First, if you are an attendee of the meeting and are looking to offer comments, you can do so using the chat feature. Please select the host button and type your comments in the chat. Additionally, if you've been in touch with staff and we're aware that you want to speak on a topic, we will give you the opportunity to address the commission during your review time. Second, just as a note, the information presented in this presentation is simply an overview. The commission has received all of the meeting materials submitted. They received them last week. This is really just a visual to keep the meeting moving.
Thank you. We need to vote on a chair and a vice chair today and select them to run the commission. I'm calling for nominations for the chair and vice chair.
I move to nominate John Holman as chair of the LPC.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the chair. Should we go ahead and vote on that now? Let's, are there any other nominations? So I will close nominations. We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Chris,
Yes.
Lily,
Yes.
Marina, Phoebe,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Vince,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
and John, would you like to vote for yourself or would you like to recuse yourself?
It's kind of fun to vote for yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Okay. John Homan is the new chair of the Landmark Preservation Commission. Congratulations, John.
Thank you, Ed, and thank you for getting the meeting started. The next order of business is to nominate and vote on a vice chair. May I have a nomination?
Nominate.
Ed, I had agreed to do it again.
Yes.
And a second, please.
I second.
And roll call vote, please, Taylor.
Sure, Chris,
Yes.
Lily. Oh, Lily, you're muted. Oh, there you are.
Yes.
Perfect. Marina,
Yes.
Phoebe,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Vince,
Absolutely yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Ed, what about you? You want to vote for yourself or you want to recuse yourself?
Yes.
Sounds good.
Which?
Yeah. Right.
Yes, I
Both,
vote.
both are correct. Both are correct. Thank you, Taylor, and thank you, Ed. The next item is for Taylor to inform the members of the commission of any changes in the preliminary agenda.
No changes.
Good, thank you. And then the minutes of the November 17th meeting, are there any proposed changes? Hearing none, I ask for a motion to approve the minutes as submitted. And a second?
A second.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry. Who was our motion?
I thought it was Steve.
Steve, perfect. And we had Vince as our second.
Yes.
Yes,
Perfect.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good, thank you. Thank you. Then there's a correction to the minutes of the September 9th meeting. Taylor, do you want to go over that change?
Yes, so change was requested for the September 9th, 2021 meeting minutes. Mr. and Mrs. Fradkins had testified during agenda item number 13 and did not feel that their testimony was adequately reflected in the minutes. The minutes originally read, Ms. Bensley read the written testimony submitted by Mr. and Ms. Steve and Patty Fradkin, the owners of 4605 Prospect Avenue. The testimony stated that they were accepting of the proposal as it rectified Ms. Bear's encroaching on their property, but that they hoped Ms. Bear would use a reputable licensed and bonded contractor. The minutes have been updated to read, Ms. Bensley read written testimony submitted by Mr. and Ms. Steve and Patty Fradkin, the owners of 4605 Prospect Avenue. The testimony stated that they were concerned that the work in the court order to correct the issues would not be completed by a reputable, licensed, and bonded contractor. The commission now must approve the revised minutes, and then they'll be posted to the web as normal, reflecting the revision. So same process that we just did for the other minutes, just this for the corrected minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Taylor. Any questions or discussion on that from any of the commission members? Hearing none, could I have a motion to approve that change?
So moved.
Steve, thank you. And a second?
Second.
Chris and Phoebe as a tie. And a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Good, thank you. Thank you. The next item is the consent agenda. Taylor, I did have a question on it. I'm showing 9, 10, 11, and 13, but I'm showing on another place where it's 8, 9, 10, and 12.
Yes, I'm sorry, John. That should say 8, 9, 10, and 12.
Okay, 8, 9, 10, and 12. Do you want to go ahead with the staff recommendations for that?
Sure. First up, we have agenda item number 8, the Clements Property at 720 Howard Road in Sudbrook Park. This is a contributing structure in the Sudbrook Park County Historic District, MIP number BA3016. The proposal is proposed plans to enlarge the existing breezeway and transform into a sunroom. Staff's recommendation is to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness, citing Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, additions and infill pages 1 through 4, and County Code Section 327405. Next is agenda item number 9, the Peru property at 1505 Frankie Avenue in Lutherville. This is a contributing structure in the Lutherville County Historic District, MIP number BA288. The proposal is the removal of 13 deteriorated storm windows and the installation of new aluminum storm windows for all the windows on the home at 34 total. It will be an in-kind replacement. Staff's recommendation is to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness, citing Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, Windows and Doors, page 4, and County Code Section 327405. Next is agenda item number 10. This is the Earshaw property at 11912 Jericho Road in Kingsville. It's a contributing structure in the Franklinville County Historic District, and the proposal is the in-kind replacement of an asphalt shingle roof and aluminum gutters. Staff's recommendation is to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness, citing Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, roofs, page 10, and County Code Section 327405. And finally, agenda item number 12, the Tarleton property at 4805 Butler Road in Glendon. This is a contributing structure in the Glendon County Historic District, MIP number BA723. The proposal is ex post facto approval for a lattice installed to the east of the dwelling to complete a garden. This was for a code enforcement correction notice. Staff's recommendation is to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness, setting Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, fences and landscape, pages 1 and 2, and County Code Section 327405 and 327403.
Thank you. Once we have a motion to accept and second, then discussion is appropriate at that point. So do I have a motion?
We can go ahead and if we can see if there's any discussion first. If anyone wants to pull any of the consent, we'll do that first, and then we'll have a motion to approve all of the remaining consent agenda items.
We will reverse it and do discussion first. Anybody have any comments on any of those?
I just had one kind of question about number 8, the kind of infill on the breezeway. The image that was submitted of the doors, it seemed like the doors were kind of floating, and it wasn't exactly clear how they connected to the kind of ground. So I just wondered if any of the architects on the LPC had any concerns related to that. If none, then I'm fine with that. But if they did, just wanted to bring that up.
Anyone?
I reviewed it and it just seemed like some of the drawings were incomplete, but since that it was at the back of the structure and it was inconsequential to what it looked like from the street, I didn't take it any further than that.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you, Chris. Any discussion on any of the others?
I was just going to add to that one. I agreed with Chris on the fact that it was on the rear, but if they're talking about maintaining the same language, it seems like the current one has a brick sill, so it would be great to sort of continue that same language, or also with the doors, it seems like some of the examples show different kinds of openings with several lights, and it would be nice to perhaps match what's there in the back, just to continue on the same language of the vocabulary of the existing windows.
Is that something we can communicate to the homeowner, Taylor, just as a suggestion?
Yes, in order to do that, we would just have to pull that one from the consent agenda so that it can be discussed further, and then any conditions can be outlined in the approval.
Is that what you wish to do, Lily and Chris?
Well, because it's at the rear, I don't know that, you know, it really, it should be. I'm not really sure.
Okay, well, if my or thought would be that if we don't have that strong a feeling, that we would just approve it as is and let them proceed. Is that satisfactory to the commission? I thought. Any discussion on any of the others? Hearing none, may we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I moved.
Thank you, Steve. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Chris. Voice vote okay, Taylor? Do we need to do a roll call?
We'll do a roll call just to be sure.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Chris?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Lily?
Yes.
Marina? Marina?
Yes. She's muted.
Phoebe?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
And John?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. The next item is number 6, the Bear property. And Taylor, you want to give us the introduction? And I think we have some people want to speak to this issue with us tonight. Is that true?
Yes, we do. We'll go ahead and introduce it first. I'm sorry, all my papers got out of order. Okay. Agenda item number 6 is the Bear property at 4607 Prospect Avenue in Glendon. This is a non-contributing structure in the Glendon County Historic District. The proposal is the construction of a 10-foot by 14-foot pavilion in the rear yard with a height ranging from 8 foot 1 3/4 inch to 10 feet 1 inch. The homeowner is proposing to construct a pavilion/pool shelter in the rear yard. The original proposal for the structure was reviewed at the October and November LPC meetings and was subsequently denied due to concerns of not having accurate drawings of all sides of the structure, water drainage issues into the neighbor's yard, height, location, visibility from the public right-of-way, and lack of supports and hurricane ties. At the October and November meetings, the pavilion/pool shelter was proposed to be 12 by 12 with a height of 9 foot in the front. The homeowner, I'm sorry, that should have said 15 foot in the front. The homeowners have scaled the pavilion/pool shelter down to be 10 foot by 14 foot with a height of 10 foot 1 in the front and 8 1 inch 3/4 in the rear. The front will have an 8 foot 1 inch headroom clearance, and the rear will have a head clearance of approximately 6 foot 11 inches roughly. The structure is to be located in the same location as a previously existing cabana, the measured 12 by 12 with a height of 9 foot. The new structure will face towards the backyard pool area, and the roof will slope down towards the fence. The proposed structure will be constructed out of pressure treated pine and will be open on all sides. The post will be a glue lam material. However, no additional product information was submitted by the homeowner. Staff confirmed that the roof will be a gray asphalt shingle roof to match the existing home. And there is an existing concrete pad, and new 12-inch concrete footers will be poured to a 30-inch to 48-inch depth under each proposed 8x8 post. The headers and brace beams will be 2x10s. Staff is accepting of the proposal as is and recommends approval. The homeowner has scaled the height down 5 foot from the original proposal, which will help diminish its visibility from the street, and the structure is now more comparable to what previously existed. Staff's recommendation is to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness, citing Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, additions and infill page 4, and fences and landscape page 5, as well as County Code section 327-405.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you. I think we should hear from the homeowner first. Is that correct? Are they with us, Taylor?
Yes.
All right. Miss Bear, you're unmuted. Do you have anything to add?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Hi there. I just wanted to add that I did look up on, I was misspoken about the size of that cabana that was there before. Not that it makes any difference really, but on my neighborhood, I did draw a measurement, and it was 16 by 20 feet, 16 feet wide by 20 feet long. So I just wanted to just correct that. And when I said I thought it was 12 by 14 or something like that, it was actually larger. But we want to place it there because we have a concrete pad around our pool, and it's just off of the concrete pad where there's some pavers, and we can actually do the columns to go into the ground and make it a permanent structure. And we don't really have another place to put it because of the topography of our land. And I know that our neighbors on the one side probably don't want us to have it, but it'll be on our property and according to Baltimore County zoning and permits. So I appreciate it being accepted if possible. Thank you.
Thank you. And then any other public comments, Taylor? Or Caitlin? I don't know who's controlling that lever today.
Yes. We do have Miss Bear's neighbors that submitted some photos. Tom and Kim, I'm gonna unmute you now. Or you're unmuted.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, we oppose it. We have the same, kind of the same arguments as last time, the location. I think it's clear that it's right along, it's still going to be highly visible from the street. If you could go to the street view photo. And so from the street, now it'll be lower than that. This is the same that I submitted last time, but the roof, the entire roof structure will still be visible from the street. And then the next photo shows it is completely adjacent to our front yard. It's as close to the property line, as close to her house as it really can get. It's about 15 feet from the back of her house, between the back of her house and the front of our house, which is a crowded area. She's got a big backyard. I disagree that the slope of the backyard could not be handled rather easily to relocate it closer to the center, make it, completely invisible from the street and not between our two houses, where it's already a crowded area. The tree will not, our holly tree will not really block it there, as you can see. And this picture of the fence just kind of shows that the slope in the proposed location towards the left is really no different than the slope on the right, very slightly different. And the survey that was submitted with this, it's a survey from the prior owner, and it doesn't show the fence in the relocated spot. It shows it where it was before, so it's really not 3 or 4 feet in that spot from the property line. It's like 2 feet there. And the roof is it's 15 by almost 12 feet. It's 180 square feet of water dumping over the fence line onto the property line. There's no mention of a gutter there, nothing to prevent, an erosion trench from happening. Snow and ice, I think Mr. Horde mentioned last time, that was one of the concerns. The prior cabana had, wasn't
20
even
seconds
7 feet.
left.
The prior cabana really wasn't even 7 feet tall. You couldn't see it. There's evidence of that in the picture submitted. You really couldn't see it from the street at all. It was not taller. The fence supported it. So it was really not visible at all. We don't feel that the structure is in any way consistent with the Glendon community, the historic Glendon. There's no lean-tos. And there's still no mention of hurricane straps if the roof takes off towards our house. And there's also mention in the code about, anything 5 feet from the property line requires a 1 hour fire rated safety wall with no openings on that side under the building guidelines and accessory structures on that site. So for those reasons, we still oppose.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Commission members, and anything that you would like to ask or discuss about it?
Yeah, I have a question. There is no plan of the build of the structure that shows how close it is to the property line. And I have a feeling that it's going to be right adjacent to the property line. And I think that the overhang is going to shoot the water from the roof over onto the neighbor's property, which should not happen. I mean, you should not be draining a roof directly onto your neighbor's property. That I have a problem with. And I don't have any, there's no plan that shows how close it is to the actual fence. So I have no way of knowing, is that true or not true? And, at minimum, it should have a gutter. I think at minimum, it ought to be a couple of feet away so the water that does come down doesn't just drain into the neighbor's property. I do think that's an issue.
Miss Bear said she wrote me a message that it'll be 4 to 6 feet from the property line.
Well, I'd like to know what it would be from the property line. There's no plan that we have that shows how it's going to relate to the pool, how it's going to relate. There's just a little, a marker shown on the site plan, and we're hearing from the adjacent neighbor that is the old location of the fence. So it doesn't really tell us where it is. So it's 6 to 8, 4 to 6. I mean, from the column, from the edge of the roof, I don't know what we're talking about. It's not really defined. The section that they show doesn't show it would be nice if the section showed the fence. So we knew, oh, that's fine. It's got plenty of room, or no, it's going to shoot the water right over the fence. So even with a gutter, you'd need to make sure that it slopes, the gutter is placed and the downspout is placed in a way that it directs the water away from the neighbor's yard. So for that reason, I have a problem with it. I do think there's a lot of room in the back, and yes, it has a slope, but there's other areas that they've raised and leveled with a small wall that works fine to have it in the back. I think you'd have more comfort, I think it'd be a nicer design in the back, but that's neither here nor there. But I do have a problem with the potential for drainage. I can't approve it without a plan, because I don't know where it is and how it relates on what looks like it could be a problem. So I will vote against it.
Do we have any additional information that might solve that problem for Ed in any of the drawings, or have we seen everything that was offered to us, Taylor?
Everything that the homeowner submitted has been included in the meeting materials.
And then are we overstepping into a zoning issue, or is this all within our purview?
I don't think that this is overstepping into a zoning issue. It's determining where the cabana is to be, or the shelter is to be located. I think getting into a zoning issue would be saying that getting into like a lot line dispute, that would be an issue outside of your purview. However, saying that it needs to be located 6 feet off of the fence and in this location shown on the site plan, that is within your purview because it's the location of the structure.
Okay, any other comments?
I have a couple of questions. If I look at the site plan that was submitted, it appears that is the privacy fence still there?
No, that's a site plan. The fence has moved over, but that's an older site plan.
Okay, because it looked like on the site plan that the privacy fence was several feet in from the property line. So I thought that might help address Ed's question, but you're saying that's gone now.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a fence, but it's moved over.
It's moved over closer to the actual property line now?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments or questions?
Yes, I have a question. If I remember correctly, last time we said that this location wasn't really appropriated because, you know, it's visible from the street, it's too close to the fence. And I think we already discussed that this is not, you know, the proper location for the pavilion. And actually they will have more privacy if they put like behind the pool and not like in the property line. The only thing that they submitted now is the drawings, which is fine to have it, but I agree with Ed. I think this location is not appropriate and I will not vote in favor.
Any other comments, questions? So what we will do, we will vote up or down on this, and then we can, if we vote down, it would be remanded back to the property owner to solve the questions that have been brought up. So may I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to not approve it.
Okay, we can do it that direction too. So we have a motion to not approve, and Steve, do I see you seconding that?
Yes.
Thank you. So what we're voting on, so if you vote yes on this motion, we are not approving it, and it was being sent back to the homeowner for further detail. May we have a roll call vote, Taylor?
Yes, thank you. Chris?
No.
No, you don't want to vote against it. Is that correct? I'm sorry, you're muted.
Sorry, correct. I muted. Correct.
Okay. Ed?
Yes.
Lily?
Yes.
Marina?
Yes.
Phoebe?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
Wendy? Wendy, you're muted.
Sorry.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay. And John?
Yes.
So with that, the motion does carry. The shelter is not approved.
Thank you, and then you will pass on to Ms. Baer the kind of detail we want, and so it's not a final no, it's a continuation of some detail.
Correct. Yep. And she is online, and also staff will communicate via email tomorrow that the commission is primarily concerned with the location and that it is highly visible from the public right of way.
Yeah, the size and scope does seem better than the previous versions that came to us.
It's an improvement, but I still think the issues remain, and I think that they haven't been addressed, and there's not enough information there to determine what it really is.
Yes.
And so the next one is the Chatsworth property, and Taylor, are you ready to provide those details? I noticed the pictures are up. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Next up, we have agenda item number 7. This is Chatsworth. It's the Ross property at 21 West Chatsworth Avenue in Reisterstown. It's final landmark number 74, MIP number BA972. The proposal is 5 exterior alterations to the structure. The Ross property is located at 21 Chatsworth Avenue. It's a final landmark and was constructed in 1830 in the vernacular style with some Greek revival details. The applicant is proposing 5 work items to restore the home. Work item 1 is the in-kind replacement of the existing 3-tab asphalt shingle roof on the main home with an Owens Corning duration shingle roof in estate gray. All flashings will be replaced and there will be no change in the roof style or shape. Staff recommends approval as proposed since it's an in-kind replacement. Work item number 2 is for the replacement of the existing wood shingle roof on the historic smokehouse, which is a 2-story brick and frame structure with a regular footprint. The brick portion contains a dairy in the lower story, which is slightly below grade, and a smokehouse above. A frame addition was added to its west elevation at an unknown date and is sheathed in board and batten siding. The property owner is proposing to replace the existing wood shingle roof with CertainTeed Belmont asphalt shingle in stone gate gray. As proposed, this replacement material does not meet the Secretary of the Interior standards or the county's design guidelines. Our design guidelines state that deteriorated sections of wood shingle roofs should be removed and replaced in kind with high-quality wood shingles or shakes that match the installation and decorative pattern of the original roofing material. That's coming from Roofs, page 8. In addition, the guidelines state that on a case-by-case basis, the LPC may consider alternative materials other than in-kind if the original material is no longer available, however, wood shingles still are. If the existing material has failed and is likely to fail again, wood shingles would hold up for the lifespan of wood shingles. If the existing material is not original, however, no information was provided on this, but the roof material likely is original, and if the roof is not visible from the street, which it is not. When taking those conditions into consideration, our design guidelines also state that any decision to use an alternative material should be weighed against the primary concern of maintaining the building's historic character. Although the dairy smokehouse is not visible from the public right-of-way, wood shingles is a material that is readily available today. And while staff understands that a wood shingle roof would need to be replaced in the future, it is a good quality material that will last 15 to 20 years, if not more, depending on the quality of the wood. With all this in mind, additionally, having an intact historic outbuilding is rare in itself, and the material should be maintained. Outbuildings are often the first to be lost, but provide a lot of information about domestic life in the 19th century. Additionally, the proposed shingles and the proposed color do not match the aged shingle roof, but rather mimic that of a slate roof. Staff encourages the LPC to discuss these concerns, but recommend that the roof be replaced with a wood shingle that matches the existing shingle dimensions in kind, or that the roof be replaced with a composite or synthetic wood shingle shake with the same dimensions and a color that matches aged wood. Work item 3 is for the replacement of missing handrails on the front stoop steps. The previous metal railing is missing, however, a small portion of the metal post locations still exist in the concrete steps. The proposed railing will be all steel painted black. The new post will be welded into the existing stubs of the former posts. It will have a simple handrail with lateral scroll ends. While no older photos were found or submitted showing the missing handrail, the design is compatible with that of the house and it does not distract from the main historic house. Staff recommends approval as proposed. Work item 4 is for 2 cellar door covers, one on the front elevation and one on the rear. The cellar doors will be made of treated pine. The applicant submitted a drawing of the proposed doors. The installation does not negatively impact the home and staff recommends approval as proposed. Finally, work item 5 is for the installation of steps to the smokehouse/dairy. In photos of the structure, the ghost of previous steps can be seen in the paint. Additionally, staff found a photo from the 2006 MIT form, and while it is not a clear photo, you can make out the location and simple design of the steps. The applicant has provided a drawing of the proposed steps and landing in the meeting materials. There will be either treated wood or rough cut oak. The width of the stairs will be 36 inches and a landing will be 36 by 48. No information on how they will be attached to the structure was provided. Staff does not have an issue with the stairs as they will be constructed in the same location as previous stairs and landings and therefore recommends approval. Staff's recommendation is to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness for work items 1, 3, 4, and 5 as proposed, and vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the replacement of the smokehouse roof with the condition the replacement material be either wood shingles or a composite wood shingle to match the existing. This is citing Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, roofs pages 8 and 10, and porches and steps, as well as County Code Section 327-405.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you. Do we have anybody from the property on the line?
Yes, the property owner, Mr. Jeffrey Ross, is online. I'm gonna unmute you, Mr. Ross.
Yes, very nice to meet you. This is a new opportunity for us since we just closed last month on the home.
Congratulations. Would you like to add any additional information to what Ms. Bensley?
I assume by the discussion, everything's approved except for the smokehouse building. And the roof is, as you can see from it, right at present, it's deteriorated so much that there's water damage in the place, and the smokehouse is in jeopardy of falling down.
Oh, goodness. I'm sorry to hear that. No, it is. You cannot assume that it's approved. We'll have discussion first, and then we will vote on approval.
I do apologize. The roofer I went with, I tried to say although the roof shingles are pretty degraded and in places they're totally gone, as you can see, there's holes in the roof. I tried to get the roofer to get something that's in the classic look, and that was the only thing he could come up with that's historic in the historic line. So that's why we went with that drawing.
Okay, thank you for those comments. Commission members, any discussion on any of the items?
Hi, this is Chris. About the stair, I'm all for the stair and I'm all for replicating historic things, but as drawn, it's a safety issue, and I just want to comment that we are not approving this for the safety. In specific, the railing would allow a toddler to fall through it, and that's about an 8-foot drop. So that's going to get picked up in plans review, I hope. And we're not commenting on the safety of that.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I have a couple of comments. One is wood shingles are readily available. I assume this is eligible for tax credits, no?
Yes, it would be.
Yeah, so you're going to, and there's no way we could approve it for tax credits if it doesn't have the wood shingles. And the wood shingles are normal, common. It's easy to do. It must have wood shingles and meet the county guidelines. On the issue of the stair, I have an issue in that it looks, if I look at this drawing, and it's the only thing I have to judge by is the drawing that they're showing. It shows a relatively small riser at the top and a very large riser down at the bottom. I'm not sure that this is even going to work. I mean, it looks like it's, if I have to sort of guess, which I shouldn't have to do. It looks to me like you've got about a 12-inch riser at the bottom, maybe a 6-inch on the way up. It's not going to look like this. So what you're showing us is not what we're actually approving. And it needs to have railings that meet code. And code says you can't have more than 4 inches between the railings that a 4-inch ball can pass between. So you're going to have to do something different. And then it's going to have to come back to us if it's not done the way this drawing is showing. And I can't approve something that I know is going to be changed because it doesn't meet code. So I would have to vote against the stairs, and I think you need to come back with a stair that has an accurate drawing, so we know that it really does work, and we know what we're actually approving, because I don't have that now, because I know what you have here will not be the way it's built.
Thank you, Ed. And any further comments or questions?
I agree with Ed.
Okay.
It needs to be.
So we'll need a motion to approve some and not approve others, it sounds like it's the direction you're headed, Ed, and Steve. So is somebody prepared to put that into a motion?
Yeah, I'll do it. I move that for the 5 items of work for at 21 Chatsworth Avenue in Reisterstown, that we approve certificate of appropriateness for the first item, which is the general roof replacement, that's pre-tab asphalt shingles. The next item, let's see, would be replacing the roof on the smokehouse / dairy with wood shingles. As close to the style that was there originally. Then also placement of the railing goes into the smokehouse, re-welding it into what's left of the stub up frame. Certificate of appropriateness for that. Then a certificate of appropriateness. Let's see, the only thing we wouldn't have a certificate of appropriateness this time is I wouldn't be approving the steps being rebuilt for the smokehouse. There needs to be additional information in the design drawing so that it actually can function properly on site once it's built.
So let me read that back before we ask for a second. What I hear you saying, Steve, is that we would issue a certificate of appropriateness for items 1, items 2, with the condition that it be wood shingles as listed in the staff recommendations. Number 3, the missing handrails. Number 4, the cellar door covers. But number 5, we withhold approval until an appropriate drawing is presented.
Okay.
Is that the sense of your motion?
That's my motion.
And may we have a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Do we roll call?
Yeah, we'll
Yes,
go through and do
please.
a roll call vote. Chris,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Lily,
Yes.
Marina,
Yes.
Phoebe,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Vince,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
and John.
Yes. Thank you.
I did have one thing with the handrails. That's still to be not as it shows on the drawings, right? It's to be
That we withheld approval on
Okay.
until they bring back a drawing that we can be sure, number 1, meets code, but then also make sure it's appropriate for the structure.
okay.
Vince, are you talking about the steps for the smokehouse or the handrails for the front?
Well, what was approved was item 3, right?
Correct. Item 3 for the replacement of handrails to the front of the house was approved. Work item 5 for the installation of steps to the smokehouse and dairy was not approved.
Okay, okay.
I think we approved everything on the house and rejected everything on the smokehouse.
Okay. Gotcha.
And we're
Good
not
way to
blowing
put it.
smoke about that. Thank you. Okay, the next item up, Taylor, is Number 13, or have I skipped ahead here one?
Skipped one.
11.
11.
Yeah,
11.
there we go. There it is. 11. Thank you.
Sure. Next up, we have agenda item number 11. This is the Clements property at 122 Central Avenue in Glendon. This is a contributing structure in the Glendon County Historic District, MIP number BA788. The proposal is revised construction plans for a rear addition. At the November 2021 LPC meeting, the homeowners came before the commission for extensive exterior rehabilitation of the home and the construction of a rear two-story addition. The commission approved the rehab work for the home, but denied the addition, providing significant feedback about the size and scale of the addition and windows and recommending the homeowners come back in January. As a reminder, the property is located on a corner lot and has two elevations that are visible from the public right-of-way. The southeast or left side faces Glendon Avenue, and the northeast or front faces Central Avenue. The homeowners have reworked the addition based on the commission's suggestions. Changes made to the addition include new dimensions, a setback on the Glendon Avenue side to create more of a separation, no setbacks on the northwest side as it's not visible from the road and is hidden by the porch. The larger rear porch with, a larger rear porch with wood posts, railings, composite decking, and steps. Anderson casement windows to mimic double hung windows. A window style change from 2/1. A window style change to 2/1 instead of 1/1. The windows on the first and second story are now aligned, and the roof line appears to be slightly smaller than the main historic block of the house. Staff is accepting of the changes made to the addition. However, the updated plans have some errors and lack notations. Staff recommends approval with the condition the plans be updated to have proper corrections, labels, and notations, and that the plans be approved by staff prior to permitting and starting work. With that, staff's recommendation is to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the addition with the condition updated plans be submitted to staff for approval prior to permitting and starting work, citing Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, additions and infill, windows and doors, facade materials, roofs, porches and steps, as well as County Code Section 327-405.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you. Commission members, any discussion? And I forgot to ask, is the homeowner on the line, Taylor or Caitlin?
Yes, they are.
Would they like to add additional comments
I'll
before
unmute them. All right, Joanna and Kevin, you're unmuted. So if you wish to add anything, go right ahead.
I just wanted to ask a question about what you had just mentioned. So you'd like us to go back and have the architect or the designer label everything and then bring it back to you?
The hand notations are fine. I just wanted to make sure that everything is matched. And a lot of the comments on here was before you submitted them and we didn't make changes. But yeah, just wanted to make sure that everything matches for everything that was approved previously and what's approved now. So there's nothing that's missed when you go to the permitting process.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Clements. Commission, any questions or discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve as the staff recommended?
I'll motion to approve.
Thank you, Chris. A second?
I'll second, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. Roll call, Taylor?
Yes. Chris?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Lily?
Yes.
Marina?
Yes.
Phoebe?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes, I'm sorry.
You're fine. Wendy?
Yes.
And John?
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And finally, number 13, the Center for Social Change property.
Yes. Our last agenda item on for discussion is agenda item number 13. This is the Center for Social Change property at 3601 Briarstone Road in Randallstown. It's a contributing structure in the Fieldstone County Historic District, and the proposal is the in-kind replacement of wood windows. 3601 Briarstone Road is a contributing structure in the Fieldstone County Historic District. The structure, built in 1947, is a ranch style with colonial revival, constructed of typical fieldstone found within the district. The applicant is proposing the replacement of existing wood windows as they are in various conditions, with some appearing to be worse than others. Photos submitted show deterioration to window glazing and wood trim. The application cites 32 windows will be replaced. However, information submitted does not match what was included in the Pella window specs, which call for 29 windows to be replaced. The proposed replacements are double-hung wood Pella Reserve traditional style windows with integral light technology grills that are permanently bonded to the inside and outside of the window glass. Non-glare foam spacers in between the grill casts a realistic shadow like individual window panes would, so the grills create the look of a true divided light window. Staff provide an example of the ILT grills in the meeting material packet. The Pella quote with all windows proposed for replacement is also included in the meeting materials. Staff encourages the Commission to confirm the number of windows being replaced as it differs between the application and the Pella specs, as well as discuss if replacement is the most appropriate procedure. From the photos, it appears that some of the windows are in better condition than others and can mostly be repaired. Should the Commission be in favor of replacement, staff is accepting of the proposal as it is in kind, with the condition the basement windows match the existing 3-light styles instead of the 6-light style proposed. Staff's recommendation is vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness with the condition the basement windows match the existing 3-light style, citing Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, Windows and Doors, pages 1 to 5, and County Code section 327405.
Thank you, Taylor. Any discussion, Commission?
Do we have the homeowner here?
I have a applicant, the property representative for Center for Change, Jay Nibber online. I'm gonna unmute you. So if you have anything to add, you're welcome to do that.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. This, I apologize, we kind of had this thing in the works because of the deteriorating conditions of the existing windows. However, we had to mull our way through to find out how we go about getting permissions. And because of lack of time, there might be an oversight on the number quoted by Pella versus what we had proposed. Just to keep the integrity of the entire structure, it really is necessary. It might be from the outwardly appearance that some of the windows could possibly be repaired. In what I have assessed and what our contractors have looked at, basically these things are far gone to the point where they could cause further damage to the structure entirely. My request is there a possibility, just a request, if a member of the committee could possibly do a site visit so that they can ascertain for themselves what the conditions are of the various windows?
So Taylor and Caitlin, kind of a technical question. The condition of the windows, is that an issue, or is it more the issue that we need to know the number and that the windows be replaced with the appropriate replacement windows?
Both. We obviously want to know how many windows are being replaced and what they're being replaced with, and making sure that there's consistency across the application, what the Commission is approving, and then what staff is approving on the permit. As far as the condition of the windows, that matters equally, because if the Commission feels that the windows could be repaired instead of replaced, they could offer that approval. One thing that is an option, if the Commission doesn't feel comfortable approving replacements without a site visit is that you could vote to assign a technical committee to visit the site. That would be a select group of commissioners that go out, and you could also vote that the technical committee visits the site and then offers a decision. That is an option if that is something that you guys feel more comfortable with. Or a technical committee could do a site visit and then report back at a following meeting. That's also an option if you don't feel comfortable making a decision without seeing the actual windows themselves.
So I'm a little confused. So that either the staff could visit or we could do a technical committee.
Technical committee is normally a committee of the commission.
Of the commission, I'm familiar with that.
And one of the, John, one of the issues is if the windows are repairable, they should not be replaced. So that's the question that, and I agree. Some of them look like they're in great shape, so they should not be replaced. That's the county guidelines. That's the National Park Service guidelines. These are things. If we're following the law, we need to. The windows should be repaired if repairable, and they appear to me. Most of them look repairable, but it's a little hard to see. But not. I think in general they're missing the glazing compound, but that's an easy thing. The wood looks like it's okay from what limited I can see.
Actually, the wood is not okay. It's basically glazing that's been shaped to look like wood. And in my opinion, if we were to replace windows for aesthetic purposes, it'll be better to replace all of the windows rather than just some, because then there is that possibility of mismatch somewhere.
Well, that's another point. And that point is, one, glazing does look like wood because it's angled and it's
well, when you have, sorry.
If the wood is rotten, it's a different story. And
it is far gone. Even the frames of the windows are in worse shape than the stiles in many cases.
Thank you, Mr. Niebuhr. So at this point, rather than debate this without seeing it, Ed, if you want to make a motion for a technical committee, let's vote on that first so that the commission has firsthand information when we next review it.
Could I ask a question first, John?
Sure.
Ms. Wendy, has anyone consulted a historic window person that does repairs who would know, I think, whether they can be repaired or not?
We have.
Have you?
Yes, and basically the person was saying, I'm amazed that these things are holding the way you have done the repairs, because a good strong draft could have the entire set of sash, one or the other, inside the house. And that's what our fear is. A lot of these are actually on the bedrooms. There are 4 bedrooms in this house, and the windows are in one small bedroom. There is just that one window, and it is drafty, and it is held up. I mean, we've done as much could be possibly done to the wood, which is basically far gone. And of course, these are individual panes of glass, unlike what is proposed, which is one integral part, and the grills are glued onto it from the exterior and the interior. So that's, I mean, it's our fear at this point that the house is becoming unsafe. It actually is unsafe.
I think we need a technical committee.
Yeah, thank you. Ed, do you like to make that
I'd
motion?
like to make a motion that we assemble a technical committee to review the status of the windows and make a recommendation to the commission.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Wendy. Roll call vote, Taylor?
Sorry, I couldn't get myself unmuted. So Ed, just to confirm, your motion is to form a technical committee, have the technical committee go out, and then offer a recommendation at the next commission meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Is there an option that would be a little bit quicker where the commission accepts the technical committee's recommendation regarding replacement versus repair?
Thank you. That was my concern as well, because, you know, it's peak of winter coming up.
I don't know how we can do that. I mean, I think we need to discuss it when it comes back. So unfortunately, I don't see a way to circumvent.
But
It sounded like Taylor or Caitlin, when you were first explaining the options for the technical committee, that there were perhaps, two options, still having a technical committee go out and do that, but one, we would just accept the technical committee's report versus, is there a way that it could be, approved before the February meeting through the technical committee?
Caitlin, I will defer to you. I know that we have had past instances where like work is emergent and at risk of damaging the structure, and the commission has voted to essentially defer to a technical committee, and the technical committee goes out. They essentially do the job of the complete commission within themselves, since it's an emergency basis. But Caitlin, I'll defer to you on that.
I don't have an issue if then the technical committee goes out and does the report and we share it with the commission through email. And if everybody's in agreement, maybe what the final result is, if it's either they're okay, if it's simple, like they're okay with the replacement as proposed, maybe I would be fine with if the commission either allows staff to administer, to approve it that way. But if it's something maybe a little bit more involved, if there's some they think could be repaired and others be replaced, that's something I think that maybe would have to come back to the commission. But if it's like an easy simple approval, or we're fine with the replacement, I think that's something that the commission would be okay to allow staff to. But if it's something more involved, maybe go back to the commission.
So Phoebe, you could offer an amendment to Ed's motion to allow commission with staff, the inspection committee with staff approval to.
Yeah, so I would then move to amend Ed's motion to allow staff to accept and approve the technical committee's report if the recommendation is to replace all of the windows, but to come to the full commission if there is a more complex recommendation. Does that work?
Ed, do you accept that amendment?
Yes. Yeah.
And so a second to the amended motion. Does somebody want to do that? Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have to repeat it, but I'll.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either.
I think we know.
Yeah, very good. And so may we have a roll call vote, Taylor?
Yes. Chris?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Lily?
Yes.
Marina?
Yes.
Phoebe?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
And John?
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all. And then Taylor, there's some other business, some
Yes.
emergency approvals.
Yes, correct. As far as other business, Avalon and Setting, which is a final landmark at 309 Gun Road in Relay. They had a fire back on October 30th in their guest house. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but they did need to do some in-kind replacements of the asphalt shingle roof, aluminum siding, and they needed to replace 5 vinyl windows. All of the work was proposed to be done in kind since it's in conjunction with a insurance claim. So staff offered emergency approval of that so that they could secure the home. Additionally, just a reminder of our inclement weather policy. If Baltimore County Public Schools are closed or get out early and don't have any evening activities, the commission does not meet. We'll always send you an email letting you know if that's the case, but just kind of a reminder since we have had some winter weather lately. And that's everything that I have.
Good. Thank you so much. Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, homeowners, for caring enough to come and speak with us. Any other questions, comments, anything else we need to bring up? Thank you. And a motion to end the meeting.
So moved.
To adjourn?
Thank you. Motion by Steve, seconded by Chris. All in favor, voice vote?
Hi.
Bye.
I.
Thank you. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good meeting, John.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Congratulations.
I think.
Yeah, thank you all.